And here I am. I know everybody must have been like, where's he going? Yeah, so if you've ever asked, basically, wondered if you could put a small baby away in his crib in about 30 seconds, the answer is no. But welcome, everybody. I appreciate everybody coming here. I know that Brian's on vacation, so I don't get that nice lead in I typically have, but let's see who's here. Mr. Journey, how are you? A little bit early, sir, because I kind of hit it right at that right time, because that's how I work. Zach will be lurking in and out of chat for the first part. Realize I'm out of dog food. Oh. Walmart Plus. I shouldn't say that because they kind of let us down just as much as they help us out. So it's kind of even out. David, good morning. I got my notification that our Girl Scout cookies have shipped. So we're looking forward to that. Paul, how are you? How long does it take to put a large baby away? I don't know. I feel like I thought you have more kids than me. I feel like you would be better knowing that than I would be, just by the number of kids. So yeah, and it's a nice Saturday here. So I was glad. During the week, I was like, I don't know if I should do one this week, just because it's been a very, 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 very long week between stuff going on at work. I haven't been sleeping right. Everyday stressors, that type of thing. But I'm glad that we're here. Neil, how are you, sir? How are you? How are you? Journey, David's got black market. No, he's got the real thing. Let me tell you something. David doesn't mess around. Okay, I was going to call him main event, and he's not main event anymore. But he don't mess around. He's got the real stuff. He's not selling the tickets or the cookies out of the back of his trunk or anything like that. No, he's got 100% pure Girl Scout cookies. I'll say this. I know that I think his time is kind of coming up, or if it hasn't run out already. So the variety might not be there, but look, you got your Thin Mints. Everybody loves Thin Mints. If you don't, there's something wrong with you. Fight me, I guess. Eva, how are you? I know you. Tell me if I'm wrong. Did you have something going on earlier this week? You couldn't get something done. I know how that sounds. I need more coffee. My brain's not working quite well enough yet.
Coffee.
I had one coffee. I had a cappuccino from Starbucks because that's my little treat. Because I get up, I go to Trader Joe's every Saturday or Sunday as soon as they open, just because I hate dealing with crowds.
You don't go every Saturday.
Every Saturday or Sunday.
No, not every week.
Would you say 3 weeks out of the month, maybe?
Probably. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, 3 weeks out of the month. Okay. And that's my little treat when I'm done, is I get myself a little coffee. So there. Ders, how are you? Walmart has those. See, here's the thing, David. If I'm buying Girl Scout cookies, I'm not going to Walmart. No, I'm going to a Girl Scout. One who solicits it. I'm not going to just start walking around and saying, "Hey, do you sell Girl Scout cookies?" to just random people on the street with their kids, because that sounds weird. Oh, it's this. Samoas are the best. Those are already gone, but they are the best. And granted, I hit the wrong button. Oh, I see. Are they made in China? Probably. Which
everything.
Yeah, I try to avoid stuff generally made in China, but tough.
You really can't.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't hear that. Oof. Mrs. Phil, did you read my comment on Hubby Comics storage video? She has not yet. Neil had made some additional comments. A lot, because it was just this morning I was looking them up. I've been behind on even looking at my comments this week.
Oh.
Neil, we're probably, maybe, depending on how my wife likes it, going to do another.
Why are you laughing?
I don't know that you did. You like commenting back when people?
Yeah, it was fun.
Okay. You're right. It would be weirder.
What?
Now, Comic Journey was saying it would be weird if we sold Girl Scout cookies to little girls, and yeah. I missed the thing. Yes, and yeah, we're probably gonna do, if not a separate video, but like maybe a addendum to the next, an epilogue to the next video, where we go over some additional comments. And some people commented on their initial comments too, so we'll go a little bit back and forth with that. So I'm glad everybody made it here. A good amount of people made it here. Let's see. So didn't go to the LCS. Big shocker. I do have a pickup. I didn't buy it. Somebody mailed me independent comic of their own making, which looks good. It's downstairs still. So couldn't tell you about that. I don't remember the name off the top of my head, but I'm gonna highlight that next week, and then maybe after. Yeah, you know what? I've been seeing him pop up all over the news. Here's the thing: I have not seen John Wick. I own the DVDs for The Wire because it became highly recommended, but I've never, and I bought that before streaming. I've never actually watched it. I definitely recognize the guy, but I wouldn't have known him to really, put my finger on. Oh, this is where he is. Hi, Gene. How are you? It's sad. Regardless, 60 years old. That was it's a little bit younger than it should be. One of the biggest voice actors in gaming. Okay. What games has he voice acted, David? In the meantime, I'll get ready and I'll show you everything I read. And I'm pleased to announce I'm finally done with reading my backlog that I've had since that Midtown order that Doug recommended. I thought my wife was paying attention. She isn't.
I am.
So, what did I just say?
You want me to repeat it back?
That's why I said what I just said. So I'll show you what I read. In fact, I wanted to show some of these covers to my wife and ask her what she thought. In fact, why don't we just do that with all of them, because I don't have a whole lot to talk about, number one. And that'll be enjoyable. So I'll start with this one. This is Frank Miller's Ronin Book 2. This was signed by Dan DiDio. You can kind of see the gold signature in that area here. Here's the certificate. I wouldn't have bought this without going through Midtown because this was ridiculously cheap. I think this was selling for $6.99 or $7.99 when they first came out, and Midtown was like a fraction of that. Did you get your? You'll have to tune in and find out, Gene. We still have a lot of those videos to go through. I'll have to talk a little bit about my basement in a bit too. So I had read back in the day the first Ronin trade paperback. I couldn't tell you what the story was. I just remember really liking it. It's got to be at least over 15 years since I read it. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I got to give that a reread. Maybe I should have given this a reread before I went into book 2. I'll say this, like I said, I remember really liking it. This book 2, not so much. I'll say this. Philip Tan has some beautiful and great artwork in this, but it doesn't make up for the story, which I found to be a little bit lacking. It just, I don't know. It was hard to kind of engage with the character, which I realized, thinking of this, excuse me, I'll do a scratch. That was a scratch. It wasn't a wipe or a pick. Let's get that sorted out. You know what? Here, hold on. I'm going to drop a bomb on here. I think a lot of people are going to be shocked. I have not seen any of the John Wick films. Have you, honey?
I don't believe so.
See, we haven't seen it. Maybe we'll have to marathon that one day, but hard to do with a kid. That's,
In a good way.
In a good way, yes, of course. Artwork is great. Frank Miller, and I didn't realize this until I was thinking about it more. He tends to write more now, or even his classic stuff back in the day, where you don't necessarily have to kind of identify with the character, if that makes sense. or even just kind of what I say is where he doesn't necessarily make the characters engaging. Like he kind of gives you some broad strokes. It's apparent at every step of the way in some of his bigger stories, Sin City, 300, that there's a definite barrier between what you're reading and you. Hey Zach, welcome back. Glad you survived. um, and this one, it feels like there's even more of a barrier between that too. Like you can't really get into that whole world. It has more of an anime type of feel to it, not the artwork, but the pacing of the actual story. But when you kind of boil it down, it's just one action scene that he's kind of put out over the span of I don't know, this is bigger than normal, I guess you could say, or longer than most comics. So it's not, although the art is stunning, it just doesn't, I don't know, it's not enough to reel me in for another one. Maybe if it's cheap again, I guess, but I don't know. The next one's going to be a pass for me. So let me see what people are saying here. I see there's a lot of John Wick talk. Yeah, you know what it is? I think I didn't see the first one because I heard something happens with his dog, and I just, one of the things that gets to me, I hate when, sounds ridiculous, animals are like hurt in movies or stuff like that. Like there was that one Will Smith movie. I don't care for Will Smith, so that's another.
I Am Legend.
Yeah, I Am Legend. I didn't like Will Smith. I don't care for Will Smith, and I heard some. Well, I didn't even hear about it, but from the trailer, it's a guy and his dog. Something's happening to the dog, so I had skipped that one. And I know it's based on a comic, but yeah, better than the Matrix. I mean, look, my approach with the Matrix films, if you just pretend that they didn't make any sequels, great.
I didn't like the last one I watched.
I didn't like 2, 3, or 4. I guess the last one was 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, that last one was especially disappointing. But the first one is still a great film.
Yeah.
I don't know. See, that's why I haven't seen it, David. I don't want to see something with a dog. Yeah, somewhere out there, not enough time.
You didn't want to see the other movie when the dog gets old.
Hey, Tito.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, anything like
You
too
were
where,
like, yeah, no.
yeah, like anything they show, like what was that one
I
with?
don't remember the name of that.
I think it was just called Dog.
I think
Or
so.
wait, no. The one that we actually argued over because I didn't want to see it. Was it Marley and Me?
No.
Marley and Me, like
No, I
from
say
the,
Marley.
from the, and let me guess, something happens to the dog at the end.
I don't remember. I don't think so.
I don't believe you. I'm sorry. Like anything that was like, oh, let's sing about a dog.
No, it wasn't a depressing movie or anything.
Yeah. That's a great website. Lets you know if a dog died. There's a great website. Yeah, let me know, Zach, because I don't want to see that. We don't have a dog now. I had a dog growing up, and that's rough. And I think that's part of it. No pun intended with the rough, of course. You don't care for Will Smith? No, I don't. And I'll say this was way before the slap. This is since, I gotta say, what's the like I've seen movies that he's in.
No, you kind of had an aversion to him when he was.
Oh well, that was the breaking point for me. No,
Yeah.
I'll say it. Concussion. That was the one where I was like,
he was good in that.
No, he wasn't. That's the thing. No, and that's why. Like, I was always like, with Will Smith. And then when Concussion came out, we saw it in the theaters. If you know what I'm talking about, it is.
It's a true story, isn't it?
Yeah, it's. I can't think of the doctor's name. It's doctor in the Pittsburgh area when they start talking about concussions with the NFL. It's yeah, like this was the one that, and I'm glad that was it. Yeah, Chris Rock called Jada out for it. Like he didn't get nominated, and then was like, well, it's because the Oscars are racist. And I was like, you know what? Here's the thing. I saw the movie. You put on a half-assed accent, it doesn't mean you're going to get an Oscar.
He did not.
It was a half-assed accent, and he just wasn't good at. Like it was okay. To be honest with you, I'll say this: I think if they had a better actor in that role, maybe the movie would have gotten nominated for other things. But he just wasn't the right one for that that role, in my opinion. So the chat's going. Let me try to see what we're saying. Manny, how are you? Manny, I was editing my video I was telling you about the Spider-Man character, and I hated it so much I have to reshoot it. But I've been holding on to the footage because there's some funny things in there I might use for, what do you call it? Like a blooper reel. I banned Will Smith. Yeah, a lot of people have, though. We haven't watched that Chris Rock special yet. Maybe we should do that. But I thought that was funny when he said it. I want to watch Emancipation so I could see him get beat. It's like, yeah. Well, you know what it is, Durs? I can understand because as far as the slap goes, it's not so much, and that wasn't. I kind of been off Will Smith for long before that. I can see it because I don't think the way everything was, he reacted, and his wife reacted, really helped the situation. Dom has been to prison. Who's Dom? I don't think so. I thought so at first. I don't think so now. Someone's talking about a girl like that. You better be ready to go to sleep. Okay. Yeah. So I'm late. Just got out of the shower. Okay. No worries. Fanboy, I felt bad because I was ready to tune into you, and then I was like, oh, I have to go to Trader Joe's. And I can't do. We have those apps on our phone that when you're driving, if you're not distracted, you get like a bonus. But even you can't just listen to YouTube on it, which drives me crazy because then it counts as being distracted. Ready to throw hands? You're just gonna stand. See, here's the thing, though, Zach. If I were presenting at the Oscars, a very black tie event, I wouldn't think this guy's coming on the stage to slap me. Let me see. I think it's funny. Yep. And they said that he said it in his special. So let's see what else is going on here. Three Good Nerds, how are you? Doug Breton, how are you, sir? Oh, see, here's the thing, though, too, Durs. I think, and speaking of somebody who's gone to a comedy show, been to a lot of comedy shows, I should say. If you go and you're seeing a comedian, you're gonna get railed on a little bit. It is obvious. I don't think it was meant to be mean spirited. In fact, Will Smith was laughing first, but I don't know. We kind of went off the rails on comics here.
Remember we got picked?
Yeah, I've gotten picked all the time. Yeah, it's been off since done the conversation off. No problem. We're kind of off the rails here. Yeah, but look, you have a big name comedian. You're in the front row. It's going to happen. Oh, you guys get more snow? Okay, so I'll show you next. I'll start with this one here. Jane Foster and the Mighty Thor, number 5. Legacy number 24. I don't know if 24 doesn't sound like a huge legacy. But, I mean, I'll be honest, it was Peach Momoko. It was a cover got by.
Why is the drawing so weird?
I'll show it to you. Trying to think. I've read some Jane Foster books in the back. In the past. They haven't been the best. Granted, I think this was the last issue of that series. It just wasn't for me. It was just an okay ending. I'll say this. I do like that they brought in, I can't think of the name of the villains from Thor. They're Valkyrie who have passed but can't die. It's something like the Seer or something. Yeah, I mean, it was a cover by, and we'll leave it at that. So this is a Peach Momoko cover. She's got that style, and that's Enchantress, who, not the Enchantress from Suicide Squad. They use the same name. What are your thoughts, honey?
I don't like the drawing. I don't know why.
You don't like the Peach Momoko?
Nah.
I like her style. It's very fluid,
Her
watercolorish.
face looks kind of odd to me.
Yeah, Fanboy agrees with you. Peach is overrated. The thing with Peach, I either love her stuff or don't care for it. There's no in between. I've seen some things that are like, that's stunning, and I've seen some things like, but to each their own. The other one is Fantastic Four, not the current volume anymore. This is the prior volume. Number 47. This is the Russ Darterman costumes variant. I had been reading Fantastic Four. I jumped off just because it was just okay. It wasn't my favorite. And I've been saying to myself, I should go back and maybe just finish out the run. There was only like 5 issues left, I think, before I jumped off. But this one I picked up because it is the Darterman variants. I was collecting those at some point. I think I pretty much have all of them. So, these are some classic Sue Storm costumes. I didn't realize she had so many costume variations, to be honest with you. I mean, I know the current, I knew the red time, and I forgot what it was, when everybody thought Johnny Storm was dead, that one. And of course, everybody knows the uncomfortable one there. But let's see. Honey, what do you think?
It's kind of neat that they're actually showing. It's the same character
Yep,
that's on
Sue
there, right?
Storm.
Yeah.
Invisible One. Side note, my wife does not like the Fantastic Four at all. And also, side note, she's never read any Fantastic Four. She just knows it from the movies.
Yeah, it's kind of neat. I like that.
Are there any costumes that you like more than others? Why don't we say that?
Yeah.
Are there any that you hate more than others?
Yeah.
Which one is your favorite of them? Point to it. The black one here? This one was her favorite. I forgot which run that was from. And which is your least favorite? That one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I could say, and it was she pointed out the Malice costume. So that's when she went evil, basically. She lost her mind. And this was the first indication that she lost her mind. Because showing, of course, as David put it, the boob window. Because you think, like, oh, you like, what is your thought when you saw the boob window? Like, oh, they did this so guys would read it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's the thing. Guys actually hated it, because most of them, I should say, when it came out, because it was like, Invisible Woman is like the mom of comics. So it's like seeing your mom in a bikini. That was the reaction. But she went from this to this. So she was a little bit evil, and then she was all evil. But yeah, good cover. The story itself was just okay. Dan Slott didn't write this issue. It was a fill-in. They were trying to do something from Reed Richards' perspective, just on him and his kind of take on the team. And it felt like it was okay, like they were going somewhere, and then it kind of pulled back a little bit. It was just okay. Like I said, I'm kind of glad I got off the title when I did. But again, the collector in me is like, well, there's only like 5 or 6 more left to fill in the run. So who knows? Maybe get it on the cheap one day. So let me see what's going on here. What did I miss when I was getting more coffee? Boob window better than no boob window. To each their own. Top right-hand corner of that book, Gene. Oh, the boob window? You're talking about the one that the price tag is covering. Because the one the price tag covering is just okay, in my opinion. But you guys made this 2 weeks. Oh, yeah, that's funny. And look, I mean, I've talked about this before on many of my videos. Certainly before the pandemic, we would go to comedy clubs all the time. Mainly so if you're in the New Jersey area, the Stress Factory.
Even when it's snowing.
In New Brunswick, even when it's snowing, yes.
Remember that?
Well, here's the thing. It wasn't really snowing there. Does the M stand for mutant? Who knows? Oh, I see what you're saying. Never mind. And when the pandemic started, we stopped going. I still support the club. The owner and his wife does a little show every Tuesday night where they're just sitting and talking in their basement and being funny generally. Sometimes they have guests on.
They used to do a free show when the pandemic started. Remember that?
Yeah, they had to. Yeah. David, this is the comment of the chat. Between John Wick, Will Smith, and now the boob window, this is the day Phil will forever regret paying attention to the chat. No, here's the thing. The chat is, and I find this in a few live shows, it's always a separate show almost, and it's been great. Yeah, the chat has been popping. I thought it said pooping for a minute, but again, that's because I need more coffee. Brad Garrett zinged me on the side of my head. I couldn't, on the sides of your head. I couldn't breathe. I'm trying to think. What comic has boob windows? I missed all of it. No, I was talking about the Fantastic Four Daughterman variant where they show all the Invisible Woman costumes, and they were looking at. I think that was
What
mid
is behind
'90s
the sticker? Why is there a sticker on that?
because that's how Midtown does it. They throw a big price sticker up there that's hard to remove. So it's not. I mean, you just missed some of the costume there. And I don't usually store them, by the way, to a thing. It's just I needed to bring it up quickly, so I did that. What comic doesn't have boob windows? A few. Why are you nodding? My wife. Well, yeah, Neil. My wife is sitting here like this, like.
It's true.
I hate to continue boob window rabbit hole. Did you guys read Jeff Jones' explanation of Power Girls boob window? I think I started to read it and I kind of gave up midway on it. Okay, 2 more that I read this week. Catwoman number 48. Catwoman surprised me last week. It unsurprised me this week. And again, this is a couple issues behind. I understand again what they were trying to do. This is they're trying to make it kind of like a
Black Adam. The back cover.
oh, well, yeah, that's when the book came out when they were promoting Black Adam. They're trying to make her, in this run at least, in my opinion, seem kind of like a James Bondish type of character, which would be okay in itself. Then they kind of flip it a little bit, and they like to drop little kind of breadcrumbs of her relationship with Batman in the middle of it, which, if it were by itself, would be okay. But I feel like the way that they do it shifts the overall kind of ambiance, if you will, of the tone. Why don't we say of the actual storyline so much it's almost jarring.
The focus.
Yeah, the focus. Not the best way done, and it's kind of a shame because I feel like, as much as I keep proclaiming I really don't like Teenie Howard's writing over the past couple of years, it really gets better, in my opinion, when she focuses on one of the two without trying to just force another one in. If she had just done, I don't want to say if she stayed on one track for one book. Yeah, the flow, exactly, Evil. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say, hey, you should just stick to one thing per story. No, just don't shift it so much, because like I said, it is jarring. And then this is issue number.
But how does that bother you when a movie starts from the end and shifts back and forth? You're like that.
Well, it's not a time shift, and
but you like that.
Oh, take care, Gene. Have a good weekend.
That's a shift.
But it's not. Oh wait, are you talking about Catwoman has powers now? Because if that's the case, then I don't know. I feel a way about that.
Like in the movie, see, she has powers.
Well, and we discussed that too. Yeah, this past week, before I show you the last book I read this week, I'll explain this. No, Power Girl. Okay, good. Because I was going to say, one of the things I like about Catwoman is she is basically Batman if she wasn't as altruistic as him, in that she doesn't have powers. She's just good at stealing stuff and in incredible shape, I guess. Yeah, David's on a roll today. I'll say that. Yeah, earlier this week, I was a guest on, if you guys know Anthony Desiato. If you don't, he has a few podcasts, most notably so Digging for Kryptonite. He also he's done podcasts just about huge Superman fan. This guy talks about Superman so much. DC should be cutting him a check every week. The amount of promotion he's done on that. And he's read read through and commented on Superman from the beginning up until I think he's like in the electric Superman kind of phase now from the early 2000s. He does it pretty much chronologically, has a different guest on every episode. And he talks about other things too. He's doing like a Power Rangers one now.
I
He's
hate Power Rangers.
direct. I don't care for them either, but look, it's some people like it, some people don't. He's the one who's made a documentary, My Comic Shop Country, which you can see on iTunes, YouTube, and if you have Tubi, you can see it for free. You just have to sit through a couple commercials, no biggie. Uh, excellent um, documentary. I highly recommend. Hold on, somebody said something here. Yeah, Evil. I read that too with the second Catwoman. I can't think of her name either. I didn't care for it, the idea of it. I guess we'll see how it unfolds. Yeah, Manny, we're gonna get to that one in a second. Yeah, so Anthony had me on one of his podcasts, which is focused on DC films that are not Superman. And it's kind of funny because for a while, like, hey, if you ever want somebody to comment, I could get in. So he overheard me one day saying, my wife's, is it your favorite superhero film? Or how do you want me to phrase this exactly? I don't want to frame it wrong.
My favorite portrayal of Catwoman. I want to say my favorite superhero.
So my wife's favorite portrayal of Catwoman, believe it or not, is in the Halle Berry Catwoman film. Just gonna let that sit there for a second.
Oh, come on. You're just kind of setting the tone right there.
I don't have to set a tone.
Yeah, but
it's
you're
infamous.
kind of criticizing without criticizing. You're kind of.
I'm not.
You are.
Well, here, let's see. Why don't we see what the chat thinks? Chat, what do you think of the Halle Berry? Three good nerds. Yikes. He says, yikes. David, what? And mind blown. I love the Google look. Okay. 60s TV Catwoman was the best. Maybe. Only. Yeah, I mean, I have a whole take on it. I think Anthony's episode, our episode, is going to drop in early April. So when that does, I'll leave a comment and or leave a link, and you can see what my take was on it. So just say that you like it too and move on.
See, that's good advice. Thank you.
No, I can't. Fanboy, have you seen it? Have you actually seen it? Because it's. I'll say this too. It's one of those films where I think there's been so much said about it that some people are. Yeah, see, he hasn't seen it. Fanboy, take the Catwoman challenge. Go ahead and tune in.
It's not horrible, okay?
I'm not gonna say
you're giving the people wrong impression already. That's what I mean. You're saying something without saying it.
I look.
Yeah, see, it says it all over your face.
Oh, let's see this. No, because I'm reading the comments. David, who has been the all-star of the chat today. I hate calling movies and comics. I don't like garbage because they are art, and good art is subjective. But that Catwoman is garbage.
What?
That's his opinion.
Well, to each their own,
Fanboy, I saw the trailer and knew I would never see it. Go ahead, you got to give it a view now. Evil's Comics, saw it in the theaters and I walked out and got my money back.
Wow.
Horrible times 10. Three good nerds. #Catwoman challenge. Yes. Let's all watch the Catwoman film.
How did that movie do?
Not well at all.
Not even like an average rating. What was the rating on it?
I mean, I'd have to look it up, and I can't do that right now. But Fanboy, Catwoman challenge accepted. I won't even jump on you for using the wrong accepted, but well done. That Catwoman movie made me hate basketball.
What?
That Catwoman movie made me hate basketball. Halle Berry, Sharon Stone, and Benjamin Brandt are all in it. Yeah. Yeah, they are. Some more than others. Sharon Stone, I think I actually read in the middle of filming, Sharon Stone took a cell phone call, didn't even care that the cameras were rolling, and I think that's kind of the tone of the whole movie. And I'll say this: Benjamin Brandt. Oh, here we go. Three Good Nerds looked it up. What do you think? Um, how do you think Rotten Tomatoes rated it?
Mm,
What would you think if you had to take a gander?
no idea.
8%.
Yeah.
No.
What?
8%.
They said 8. Like,
No. 8% on Rotten and 1 out of 5 audience scores. Nah, that's no problem. Fanboy Son was calling out. That's what it was calling. IMDb 3.4 out of 10.
that's way too low. Come on.
I think it's a little bit more generous.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
Mm.
But yeah, actually, what was I going to say? One of Anthony's. I don't know. When I this is what happens when I need coffee.
No, you dance on your head.
Yeah. So when that episode drops, I will be sure to let you know. But in the meantime, if you guys are looking for a good documentary, as I said, I would certainly recommend looking up My Comic Shop Country, and really all of Anthony's projects. His like I said, he's got a bunch of podcasts on a variety of different subjects. Superman, Justice League, Digging for Justice was one of them. Look him up. Great show. Neil, I would say Halle Berry is a skin-tight Catwoman costume, no matter how bad the movie was, would be enjoyable. Okay, Neil, have you seen it, though? Eva, as I said, I haven't seen any of the John Wick movies, but I would tend to agree with you that, yes, I trust you when I say it's way better than Catwoman.
Oh, come on. Black Adam. Which one would you choose?
But
Black Adam or Catwoman?
I would pick Black Adam.
Oh, come on. Get out of here. You didn't like Black Adam one bit.
I didn't like Black Adam.
Yeah, okay.
But I would still watch it over Catwoman.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know how unfair life is? Roger Corman's Fantastic Four movie never got released. But yeah, you know what? And we were talking about that too. Like the one thing I thought of, and granted, I mean, it's been almost 20 years since Catwoman came out. How bad was the Batgirl film that Warner Brothers like, oh, we can't release this, but they released Catwoman.
Wonder Woman?
Yeah, that second one was terrible.
The second one?
Yeah, the second one was terrible.
So would you rather choose the second Wonder Woman or Catwoman?
The second Wonder Woman by a hair.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, what? Manny, the Hobgoblin. The Hobgoblin Collector. I'm sorry, he's not an actual Hobgoblin. Just the Hobgoblin's a Spider-Man villain. I don't know if you're familiar with that, honey. I was entertained at times with the Catwoman movie, but then I was like, 2 + 2 is wait. Yeah, I get that. That's why I like Entrapment. Yeah, I liked Entrapment too when that came out.
Thor: Love and Thunder.
I'll say this. I would watch Catwoman before I watch Thor: Love and Thunder. And I comment on why exactly. I'm not going to give out more. Lady Prime says she didn't hate Barry's Catwoman, but she didn't like it either. Let me ask you, has Lady Prime, that's his wife, that's not her actual name, honey.
I kind of, yeah.
Okay. Has she read or seen any other Catwoman appearances? And if so, what is her opinion when it's stacked against it? Second Wonder Woman by a lot. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, yeah, it could get much better. Yeah, I've only seen it once, but I feel like Maxwell was not the problem necessarily with that film. He just was kind of out of place there.
Catman versus Superman. I mean, there's so many worse
movies. I'd watch
movies.
That before I watched Catwoman.
There's so many worse movies than Catwoman. You need to agree to that.
I would watch that before I watched Catwoman.
No way. I would not.
Neil,
you were sleeping in the movie theater. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Neil, I wish Mrs. Phil would make a first appearance. She was one of the best at the back and forth arguments. Well, that's up to her.
No, you would beat me in it.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was uncomfortable, the whole Wonder Woman thing. See, David, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not going to I'm not going to comment. Just give any. I don't want to give any spoilers out, so you'll have to listen when it goes there. You know, Anthony has been trying to get me to watch the ultimate cut of Batman vs Superman. I just can't get into it.
You didn't like it a lot at all. You
Yeah, well,
hated it.
I know that's what I'm saying. I can't sit down and watch the ultimate version, which is like a 5-hour version.
Yeah, no.
Bear in mind, I hated the original Justice League, but the
Yeah.
Snyder cut was amazing.
Well, the Snyder Cut is a whole different movie, though.
Yeah, well,
That's different.
well, it's not. It's a whole. It's like
It
they
was a whole
went back and
different movie.
no, they went back and redid it.
Right. Exactly.
I don't know. Fanboy, Anne Hathaway is the worst Catwoman.
Yeah. See.
I wouldn't say she's the
Uh-huh.
worst, but she wasn't
I
a
agree
good
with
one.
that.
And I think
I
for the
agree
same
with that.
for the same reason,
Mm-mm.
for the same reason that
I told you that.
Halle
You-
Berry failed.
You
but
disagreed with me
again.
on that. Mm-hmm. Yep.
please comment now. And okay, I don't know what that is. Okay, I don't know what that is. Director's cut is way better. I just can't say I'm going to sit down and watch this 5-hour thing, however long it is. I don't know. Yeah, no, and that was really exciting in the trailer, but in the movie, I feel like it was just so padded in, it lost me. So the last one I read was Catwoman 49. This is the 90s variant. I think, Evil, I think, were you commenting on that one, or was it Manny with the 90s Catwoman costume? My wife's already furling her eyebrows at. And that's just how she looked in the 90s. That was just the 90s covers. Remember, you saw the Wonder Woman one?
Yeah.
And I liked a lot of those 90s covers. I didn't buy them all because at the end of the day, I can get the same enjoyment for seeing a picture of the cover than actually owning the book. But I made an exception with here. And it's a continuation of the same story. It does pick up more on the mafia end of it. I'm flipping through so I kind of remember a bit because I didn't take any notes. Trying to see if there was anything notable. I kind of liked what they were doing. And I think this is actually the introduction of what Mike Evil was saying with the second Catwoman. There's two Catwoman now. There's Selena and another woman who I can't remember the name, but she's Asian. I'll say this. I do like the artwork, interior artwork at least in these.
Do you like the cover?
Yeah, I thought the cover was decent.
The color's decent?
Yeah.
Really?
Trying to think, what was I going to say? Yeah, it kind of reminded me a bit of Elena Casagrande, her work on Batwoman as far as the interior art goes.
That's decent.
This is exterior, not interior artwork.
So I'm saying, do you like the cover?
Yeah, I think the cover's fine. So, let's see. My wife does not like this cover. This was Catwoman's suit in the 90s. Remember, we were talking about this when we did Neil's challenge a couple weeks ago. Let me see here. So, like I said, the story itself was just okay, in my opinion. I don't have issue 50, nor am I picking it up. The new issue that's going to come out, though, I liked the cover. They show the... have you seen the Batman cover? I think Jim Lee did, or the Batman picture where he's... Oh, Alex Ross actually did it first. Where he took his shirt off. You only see the back, and you see his back is all scarred up.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it's basically they do a take on that now with Catwoman, where yeah, she's all scarred up too because you see them doing these things, but of course you're going to get wrecked, when you're throwing fists every night.
So you would give that to your son to read?
He can't read.
Once he reads.
If he wants to.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I understand it's very tight.
Yeah, that's
but
one way to describe it.
I don't think it's illicit.
You don't?
No.
Her leg is split on top of it. I mean, it doesn't get worse than that. I'm sorry to say that.
Well, and to be fair, maybe a high heel boot is not the thing to wear when you're jumping from rooftop to rooftop and whatnot. But there we go. And that's everything I read this week. What issue is that? That's number 49. It's the 90s variant. At this point, I mean, it's a couple months old at this point. I think issue 53 just came out, but this is number 49. Trying to think. What other kind of comic things have been going on this week? I finally, there's no sex in it. There's no nudity.
But the cover I'm talking about.
Yeah, my wife has a issue with tightly dressed women in comics in general.
And the fact that the male gender doesn't have the same sort of
But they do.
revelations in
But
the
they
covers.
do.
No,
Hey,
they
look,
don't.
I showed you young.
Superman is covered. Batman is covered.
I've showed you the one with her scarred back. Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. That I think is good. I think that one's coming out this week or it just came out. Well, and to my answer,
Spider-Man.
I showed you.
You don't see their junk.
Well, and again, you do see Batman's junk. We've
No,
had
you
that
don't.
discussion.
No, you don't. That was once.
Yes.
Yeah. Where is the other one? There's so many other issues. Where is it?
I showed you Yondu's original costume. Remember that?
Okay.
Do you remember Yondu's original?
Once in a blue moon doesn't count.
Hold on.
You see women's like everywhere. 9 out of 10.
Nope. Do you remember Superman junk right there?
Same thing with movies.
Evil. Tell me where I could show my wife Superman junk.
No, you did show me.
No, Batman, not Superman.
Oh.
I haven't seen Superman. Spider-Man is skin tight. Yeah, that's
But you
true.
don't see his junk. That's the point.
To be fair, I haven't looked for Spider-Man
Yeah,
junk.
but it's there. You don't have to look for it. That's the point.
But again, I showed you Yondu's original costume, if you recall.
It's unfair. That's my
Wait,
point.
you're not acknowledging that. Do you remember that?
What?
Yondu from Guardians, his original costume in the 90s. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It was like, honestly, it was like Borat. He had like a, it was.
That was such a horrible movie.
Batman. Damn. Oh no, I knew that one. I thought you said Superman. Maybe I read it wrong. Dr. Manhattan. Yes, perfect example. I didn't think of that one. No, because it was such a good revelation. Now you've never read you've never read the Watchmen series, correct? You saw the movie, but you haven't read the
It was a
series.
series, no? Watchmen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You haven't
No.
read it.
No.
Did you watch the movie? I remember you saw that one scene you thought was interesting, but you didn't. I don't think you sat down and
I
watched
thought
the
I
movie. We saw the series together,
Yeah.
but the original movie, did you watch that?
Maybe not. I don't know.
Because Dr. Manhattan's junk is out for 90%
Again,
of the time.
once in a blue moon.
No. That was a 2.5-hour
You have
movie.
to literally look for it.
That was no, you didn't. It
Yes,
was
you did.
2 hours of Dr. Manhattan junk, honey. And you read the comic too. The only time
But how often do you see females' private parts versus males?
you're not seeing the private parts.
Yes, that's an outline.
That's a cover.
That's an outline.
Can't think of the Superman series, but he wore some weird skin tight trunks in the 90s. Yeah. David, just drop the mic. No more YouTube for you today. This is perfect. To be fair, ball windows would not go over as well as boob windows.
See?
That's the
Yeah,
point.
exactly. Exactly my point. Sex sells. That's what that is.
Bottom tier collector. Hello, by the way. I don't think I said hi to you yet. The Watchmen first time through is uncomfortable, yeah, but I'm okay with the quality for nude scenes.
But you don't think women be buying that? Just like men would buy, boobs or anything?
I don't know. I don't know many men over a certain age that say, well, this one has boobs, let me buy this.
Yes, some men do.
And if that's what they're going to do, that's what they're going to do.
Remember Sean was saying that boys would walk into the...
Boys, not
Yeah,
men,
yeah.
boys. And for the record,
You don't think men do that
hold
too?
on a second, we should say this for the record. Sean, the proprietor of Fat Moose Comics, does not sell nudie issues to minors.
There is a section.
Right? And he says to put that down.
Yeah, no,
that's
I
not
know.
for you.
But I'm saying you don't think men have that same mentality?
There probably is, but I think that's why you also don't see that as bestsellers,
Yeah.
David, imagine Spidey swinging around New York, you look up and you see the balls. Yeah, I'd be afraid you smack somebody. Why else wouldn't you see a guy's bulge? The Suicides 2 had some man bits floating around. That's true as well. The second film. And show her a Nightwing thirsty. Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that evil. Yeah, we should. Here, look up some most recent
I don't want to look it up.
Nightwing covers. No, because Nightwing.
No, I'm not looking for it. I'm just pointing out the fact that you see a lot more women's private parts versus men. That's it.
And
That's
what
all
I'm telling
saying.
you is that he gave me a great suggestion with some Nightwing covers. Nightwing is, I don't know if you're aware, that's the first Robin. I can only speak for myself. I try to avoid sexy covers. I only make an exception for completing Lobo Zap history. But anything I deem sexy is hidden away from innocent eyes. That's fair. And look, I also don't, tell me if I'm wrong, I don't jump into, oh, let me get this because, stuff's going to pop out. I mean, it happens.
But I've seen comics downstairs while we're organizing that were really lewd.
From when? What are you saying?
I don't know from when.
Okay,
But I've seen
give an
covers
example.
that were very revealing, very sexually,
Comic Journey brought up a good one. Any barbarian story basically features mostly naked men. I don't collect any barbarian stories.
But I'm talking about like an ordinary character like Catwoman.
Well, give examples of the ones that you feel you've seen downstairs. Like I know, like the Lady Rawhide, you find offensive, and again, that's Zorro. And my answer to that is, look, I bought that when I was 13.
You didn't buy Catwoman when you were 13. That's more recent.
This one?
Yes.
No, this one I didn't buy when I was 13. This is her 90s costume. That was the whole point. I don't find that one to be lewd.
It is. Her boobs are right out. It's an outline of her whole entire body.
Those workout variant covers. Yes, I'll look that up. Comic Journey. Why isn't Conan an ordinary character? That's an excellent point. Conan the Barbarian.
What about...
Hold on. He asked a question, honey.
What?
Conan the Barbarian. He's an ordinary character. His
I
junk
don't
is
know
based.
so
Conan the Barbarian.
I don't. I'm not familiar with that character at all.
Conan the Barbarian. Movies and everything.
We never watched the movies.
Schwarzenegger. Well, they came out when you were a baby.
So then there you go. How would I be
Schwarzenegger.
familiar? Schwarzenegger, I know.
Yeah, he played Conan the Barbarian.
I never watched him.
Yeah, Conan the Barbarian. Gary B and Matt Woods love Conan. You always see the pictures there.
I know they talk about it, but I
Red Sonja is from Conan.
Oh, I hate her.
But that's how the guys are dressed too.
Not really. They're covered though. They got a covering over it.
They have loincloths.
Yeah, but you don't see like an outline.
So you would feel better about Conan if you saw an outline of his beanbag, is what you're trying to say?
No. You don't get what I'm trying to say.
I don't.
See?
I'm using my iPad now to show her some Conan books. We're 53 minutes in, by the way. I should probably start wrapping things up. But we'll do this because Comic Journey with a stroke of brilliance there. Dave Stevens' lady pinup covers in the 80s were my favorite. Even as scantily clad as the women are in pro wrestling, a lot of them just wear a piece of spandex over the goods. There you go. It's easier to hide beanbag outlines than boob outlines. That's true.
Right, but they don't.
Can you imagine? Okay, and this is good. This is a practical point. How would Catwoman go about jumping from rooftop to rooftop with a full trench coat?
Why does she have to have huge boobs? You've seen
That's
Catwoman in various costumes with boobs big and small. Why does it have to be like that?
Well, I would say you should build a time machine and ask Jim Balin.
See? Because it sells. That's why. Because he knows that men are going to go to that.
I don't know that I agree with you.
Yeah. You can just.
Oh yeah, here. So this is from a Marvel.
Oh, see? Where is it? It's covered. You see how it's covered? Because they know men are not going to buy it.
Oh, here, I'm going to find you. Well, to be honest with you, let's say it wasn't covered. Would you still be buying a Conan the Barbarian comic?
Yeah.
You would buy a Conan the Barbarian comic if you saw his beanbag and didn't know anything about it.
If I was a teenager, maybe. Not now.
I disagree. They don't feature camel toes. That's true. Not all women are drawn with big boobs.
Most of them are. Most of them are.
I disagree. It's mostly female sexualized because there's more male readers.
Exactly.
If there were more female readers, there would be more pervy male covers. This is a good one. Jim Lee's idea of Wonder Woman is not holding a shield and sword up to a fight anymore. Okay. Sword up to fight anyone. Here, I'm looking for more Conan for you. And look, at the end of the day, too, honey, I mean, I don't read Vampirella, okay?
You have Umbrella.
Which we got from Freight, correct?
Oh.
But
you said you bought it when you were, what, 13?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There is one from when I was
okay.
13. Yeah.
Missed that one. Do you have Red Sonja?
No.
No?
No. Actually, you know what? I have a Spider-Man Miss Sonia.
Okay.
No, because Spider-Man and Red Sonja crossed over.
Oh, okay.
Neil, I actually see Mrs. Phil's point. A lot of comics are made for the male buyers.
Thank you.
Right, but I tend to think, look at Lady Death, he says. Which, Lady Death, as you know, Madame Blaster's a big fan of Lady Death, remember?
Yeah, but again, to each their own.
Exactly.
You know?
That's what I was about to say, to each their own. They often use women with small boobs on cosplay covers, if that helps. It probably doesn't, I'll be honest with you. Crazy Jane is my favorite female character in comics. She's a pencil. God, what is Crazy Jane? Crazy Jane from Bottom Tier. I'm not familiar with her, but yeah, I mean, look, there are books with lesser boobed women. I don't know.
You've seen a lot worse than that. You have to admit.
But you've seen there's a lot better than that at the same time.
Yeah,
but I think
I'm not talking about those.
I think this is a great way to cap the discussion. See here, look, would you consider this overly gratuitous boobs?
No.
Okay.
You know,
see?
You know what I'm talking about, so.
There's a lot of lesbians around there that appreciate those covers. I'm sure there is. Crazy Jane is from Doom Patrol. Oh, yeah. No, I mean, I've never read any Doom Patrol. We watched a little bit of the series. The girl who has the multiple personalities.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's not. I don't know. But I mean, I think the best way to cap this discussion, and I'll end the show today on this thought. Comics are the type of thing that whatever you're looking for, you're going to find. If you're looking for, tightly dressed, big boobed women, hanging out and everything, yeah, there's something for you. Whether you just don't care how they're drawn. Yeah, X-23 is normally drawn with smaller boobs. Thank you, Evil. Look, whatever you're looking for, it's there. And if that's what you like reading, that's fine. I think that at the end of the day, if you're getting what you're looking for, there's no harm done. So I think I'm going to say goodbye for today, at least on that note. I think that we had a very good chat with that, honey. What do you think?
Yeah.
Be sure to take a look this week. I have some more videos coming out, of course, that I haven't filmed yet, so I don't know. That's why I'm kind of beating around the bush with that. But I'll leave you like I always do. Enjoy your weekend. Peace, love, and comics. Take care, everybody.